Maybe it was a love triangle. Oh, I was
Ooh,
right.
a lover's quarrel,
I
maybe.
love you. I don't love you, but I love you. And then
Well, we do have a main topic tonight. We always have a main topic now on the channel. We talk about some interesting story. Last week was poisonous tomatoes and how some man saved the tomatoes forever.
oh
We've
yeah.
we've yeah we've talked about we talked about all kinds of people, like people who go missing. We talked about Bigfoot once, but this
I have
show
seen Bigfoot. I
you
keep
did it
telling you that, and you
right.
never invite me on a Bigfoot show, and I'm super disappointed about it.
Well, you're going to be excited because at the end of each show we have a little segment called Bigfoot. That's the last thing,
Good.
so you can share your story then.
Okay, good.
And that maybe one I might do a group stream again. Well, we'll see. So the story that we're going to talk about is the vanishing. It's the Flannan Isle Mystery. It's about a lighthouse. So like in December 1900, the keepers of this lighthouse off the northwest coast of Scotland mysteriously disappeared, and to this day, no one knows what happened to these people. If you can say, it's. I don't know. Have you ever been to Scotland?
I have never gotten to leave the country.
We left. You went to Hawaii.
That's that's United States.
That's technically you left the inland,
I
the
left the
main part.
continental United States, but I've never left the country.
Okay. Never been to Mexico?
No.
Okay. Well, anyways, it's a very small island, it's very tiny, and they have a lighthouse on there because ships come by there all
Mhm.
quite a bit. They did. It's still there today. A dreadful accident has happened at the Flannans. Reported a ship containing captain in 1900. So something dreadful happened. These three men disappeared after a lighthouse went dark in the Wild Islands north of Scotland. A ship traveled to the Flannan Islands to investigate. They discovered that all three lighthouse keepers had vanished. The captain added, on our arrival there this afternoon, no sign of life was to be seen on the island." So there, I mean, yeah, that back in the day, that's what you do. You would live there for a while, right? And you would. I think they still do that. I think
Mhm.
innkeepers still live in lighthouses. What happened to the vanished lighthouse keepers? No one knows. Was it it was an accident? Was it even something darker? So before we get into, what do you think? What do you think happened to these people?
Uh leprechauns
Leprechaun in Scotland?
in Scotland.
Okay.
Or is the what do they call it? The I can't remember the Gaelic word for it, but they've got like this little Ogilvy. The Ogilvy.
Oakavie. Okay, they
Ogilvy,
got
yeah.
them. Okay, we'll see if you're right. So these are the lighthouse keepers. There was three of them that went missing. Like I said, there was Thomas, James, and Donald. The man to the far right was the superintendent. He was not on the island at the time, but he did recruit them and help kind of investigate when they went missing. So the three lighthouse keepers, like I said, James, Thomas, and William there, manned the remote outposts on Illamore on one of the islands. Built built only a year earlier in 1899. So it was only a year old. The lighthouse. The lighthouse was sturdy and sound, so it was brand new. Shouldn't have any problems. The men likely disappeared around December 15th, 1900, about the time a storm swept across the North Atlantic. Near the end of December, the ship Hesperus sailed north to investigate under Captain Jim Harvey. So the ship came in, noticed that they were missing. On December 26, 1900, the Hesperus docked at the bottom of the steep cliff alone. Alone, the reef lighthouse keeper Josh Moreau climbed the 160 steps up to the lighthouse. When he opened the door, Moore discovered a scene frozen in time. So this guy, the captain came, they docked the boat. He walked up there to see what's going on because there was no light and nothing. The clock on the wall stood still. The table was set, waiting for men who would never return. Moore found only one living creature at the lighthouse, and it was a canary who sat quietly in the cage. I did not take time to search further, for I only too well knew something serious had occurred. More later reported. I darted out and made for the landing. So he was pretty terrified. He's like, something really bad happened.
Really?
That's pretty creepy, right? The clock is
Yeah.
frozen. The maybe the bird ate him.
Vicious canary
and yeah, and their food was just kind of sitting there, like waiting. Like that's kind of creepy, right?
That is really weird. Like they just jumped up and left in a hurry.
Yeah.
Or the Ogilvy came and took them.
So back at the ship, the Hesperus, Moore reported that what he had found, 2 more sailors joined the search for the missing men, but the investigation only deepened the Flannan Island mystery. In the lighthouse, the searchers discovered an oilskin protection against, it's like a jacket, right? Protection against the rough northern weathers, meaning one of the lighthouse keepers must have ran from the lighthouse during the storm without his gear. Okay, so they left one jacket. The rest of other jackets were gone. On the western side of the isle, the storm's power left its mark. Iron railings had bent in the wind. A railway track was torn away from the concrete. The enormous boulder had rolled out of place, and a supply box laid smash on the ground, with its contents spread across the rocky land. So there's the 160 steps. So maybe the storm knocked them out. Maybe they were blown off to sea. What do you think? This would just be a really weird thing to do, right? You come up to this island and you're just kind of walking around and you're kind of like looking for, and you keep finding these little clues, like, and you're trying to like figure out where these people go.
I go there now, though.
Oh yeah.
Find out from us.
Well, there it is. That's what it looked like back then. But there was no sign of the 3 vanished men. So quoted, poor fellows, they must have been blown off the cliffs. That's what they thought, or drowned trying to secure a crane or something like that. And that's what the captain of that ship mentioned. In his telegram report, the captain also noted nothing appears touched at East Landing to show that they were taken from there. One west side, on west side, it is something different. We had an old box halfway up the rail for holding Westland mooring ropes and tackle. That was all gone. So, like, somebody took something.
Yeah. Weird.
Very weird, right? Very weird. So
maybe they all fell in love, and they just
maybe they all bought an ass
clarinet.
Now's
our chance, lads. Let's go.
So was the West Landing where the men died? No. Now there is nothing to give us as indication that it was there. The poor men lost their lives. Captain Warren, Robert Murrowhead, the lighthouse board superintendent. So we already talked about him. Had personally recruited the 3 missing men. He traveled to the island to do his own investigation. So he was like, he didn't even know what happened to these people. So the official report and surrounding rumors. So there were some rumors, obviously, right? There's the islands. Isn't that pretty cool? It's like just out in the
beautiful.
So there's stairs up there. So there's a lot of rocky, jagged cliffs that they could have fallen off of. I mean, if it was a pretty intense storm to bend rails, they could have gotten blown off the rocks.
Yeah, but you also have to consider that these guys were professionals. You know, this was their job. This is something they were very trained to do. You would think they would know better than to even try to, if
go
if
outside.
A storm is that bad. You're like, we better stay in tonight. You know.
Yeah, maybe. I would agree with that. Like, I would assume that, like, if they knew what the weather was, that they wouldn't. It's like storm chasers. They know the limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this time they overestimated. They just cleared this island mystery was merely a accident. The official report. Moorhead stated that 2 men had traveled to the Westland around dinner time on December 15. They hoped to secure ropes and supply box, so they must have got blown off. Well, what happened to the other guy, right? What did he do? An extra large sea had rushed up the face of the rock, which Moorhead speculated had gone above them and coming down with immersion of force and had swept them completely away. So they didn't even find their bodies. So they must have been pulled out. He was thinking they got swept up and just
Yeah, so
completely.
it's all just speculation.
Hmm.
If I mean they don't have bodies, totally, just 100% speculation, which is my favorite.
But that's only two of them that they think happened. Where's the third guy?
On the toilet
Watching YouTube.
watching YouTube
When could?
while he poops.
Yeah. Hopefully, please put a thumbs up, like button, subscribe if that is you. When could not have been the cause. Murad reasoned because the direction of the wind would have pushed the men towards the island rather out to sea. So, I mean, this guy, he's like went further in the investigation. Like, nah, maybe not. Maybe they didn't get blown off to sea. So there was some other. So there's conflicting reports, conflicting things. Yeah. So now there was official report did not end speculation along the wide slept islands of over there. Some blame the sea serpent. What do you think?
I like that theory.
Just devoured
That's
the men.
fun
Other
theory.
claim the keepers had tried to escape the island only to be swept away. Why would they escape?
Where were they escaping from?
Who were they escaping from? Yeah, that's right.
Maybe the Nessie there, tried to chase him up on the island, and that's how all the stuff got ripped up, and
Oh yeah,
knocked over, and
yeah.
she eated them.
Well, another
She didn't like the
theory.
music they were
Yep.
playing.
Yeah, maybe they didn't like. But why was the time stopped?
Because she stopped the clock. She didn't want to get caught, so she was like, "Let's make them think it was aliens," and like
Okay.
stop the clock.
Another theory claimed that a fight had broken out. One of the keepers killed another while covering up the crime. The survivors were swept out to sea. Or did MacArthur, known for his short temper, that's one of the innkeepers, kill both men and throw himself off the cliff? Maybe just went nuts.
Maybe it was a love triangle. Oh, I was right.
A lover's quarrel. Maybe.
I love you. I don't love you, but I love you. And then
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, who knows? You could all come up with your own theories. Again, this part of the video will be clipped out and made a separate video. So if you're watching after the fact, put your own comments. What do you think happened to these poor men? In the years after their tragic disappearance, the rumors surrounded the lighthouse keepers only intensified. Stories of a long book containing suspicious entities began to surface. In this supposed logbook, Marshall had written about their disappearance during the storm, praying for protection before it finally ended on December 15th. But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I said did I say entities? See, I'm thinking aliens. I meant entries. So, but if the storm had ended before the men disappeared, it seemed foul play, which much more likely. I would maybe foul play. However, no evidence of these logbooks entries has ever surfaced. Official reports at the time showed that the final entry in the logbook made on December 13th with small notes about weather being made on the morning. So they knew weather was coming, so maybe there was like a storm.
Oh, you better acknowledge Roe right now. He's feeling very poorly that he says he's chopped liver.
Well, if Ro, this is like video mode, so I don't really acknowledge chat during video mode. But hey, Ro, how you doing? So they actually made a movie about this. It's actually
I'm gonna watch it.
Called The Vanishing. So the unsolved mystery of the Flannan Islands, the bodies of the missing lighthouse keepers were never found for over 120 years. That's how long it's been, I think, so far. The mystery has remained unsolved. Whether an accident or something worse, the disappearance was a tragedy. Of course it was, right? It was sad. I mean, they had families. The men left behind families who never learned the truth. Morad also found himself reeling after the death. So the guy who investigated, he was like really wanted to figure out what was going on. I visited the islands when the reef was made so lately as the 7th December and have mechanically, let's see, recollection. Yeah, melancholy. Sorry, my eyes are like twitching out.
Okay.
Recollection that was the last person to shake hands with him. So I mean, these
Did they
people
met
have.
you?
Yeah. Did the storm? Did it? Was it the storm? Was it aliens? Was it
Rose says portals.
portals?
I think it's a combination of aliens, portals, and Loch Ness. I mean,
So
logic is pointing straight to it.
So in the movie, I haven't seen it fully, but what I do know of the movie, there's these criminals who hide gold on the island.
Ooh.
The innkeepers find the gold. They like want to try to keep it for themselves. The criminals come back for the gold, and like
So,
where
real
where
quick,
where is it?
is there confirmation that it's true that criminals did bury gold on the island and that the keepers found it, or they just totally
That's just a
fictionalized the story?
fictionalized. It's another rumor theory story, right? I guess they didn't want to do sea monsters.
Damn. Everyone's always hiding the truth.
Good to see you, Matt.